24-3 after 20 minutes. A brand new coach, a brand new captain, a squad full of debutants, and England, experienced, ruthless, clinical, were tearing them to pieces. If you turned on this match at the 20-minute mark, you'd have said Rassie Erasmus had made a mistake. You'd have said Siya Kolisi wasn't ready. You'd have said the Springbok team was years away from competing. But, as we know now, you'd be wrong about everything. Because what happened over the next 60 minutes at Ellis Park on the 9th of June 2018 didn't just change a rugby match, it changed the entire trajectory of South African rugby. It launched a dynasty, 2 World Cups, a Lions series, a generation of golden players, and it all started with one of the greatest comebacks in Springbok history. I'm Brenden Nel, and on Monday we covered the 53-3 humiliation. Yesterday, the 2007 World Cup final. Today, we jump forward 11 years to the match that started everything. To appreciate what happened at Ellis Park, you have to know how bad things had gotten. Ellis Park had been sacked as Springbok coach in February 2018 after what was statistically the worst period in Springbok history. 11 wins from 25 tests, a 44% win rate. South Africa's first ever home loss to Ireland, a first defeat to Italy, and the one that still makes people wince, a 57-0 thrashing in New Zealand against the All Blacks. 57-0. His first year, 2016, was the worst in Springbok history. 4 wins from 12. The public had turned against him.
Disastrous. If I could use one English word, I'd say disastrous. But on the other hand, again, Jacques, sometimes things is got to go as low as it can get to go upwards. Within this, I still see massive opportunity for South Africa and South African rugby, not to crack and plaster over wounds, but to clean it out and have a great 6 months of better planning in order to build South African rugby to get to the top again.
The players looked lost. The Springbok brand, once the most feared jersey in world rugby, was in tatters. South African rugby was at rock bottom, and they needed somebody to pull it out. Enter the man from Munster. Rassie Erasmus was in Ireland. He'd left South Africa in 2016 to become director of rugby at Munster, a club that was reeling after the sudden death of the famous head coach Anthony Foley. Well beloved. Erasmus steadied the ship, won the Pro 12 Coach of the Season award, and had Munster competing again. But when SA Rugby came calling, he came home. He was appointed director of rugby in December 2017 for the second time. And when Coetzee was finally let go, Erasmus stepped into the head coach role on the 1st of March 2018. He was given something no Springbok coach before him had received, a 6-year deal. Long-term planning, no more chopping and changing every 2 years. For the first time, somebody could actually build something. But the long-term deal doesn't help when your first real test is against England at Ellis Park, and half your squad are debutants. And then there was the captaincy. Because in late May 2018, Erasmus made the most significant selection decision in South African rugby since Nelson Mandela walked onto the field at Ellis Park in 1995. He named one Siya Kolisi as Springbok captain. The first black player to captain South Africa in 127 years of Test rugby. Kolisi grew up in Zwede, a township in Port Elizabeth. He was raised by his grandmother in a 2-bedroom house that already had 5 people in it. He slept on cushions pushed together by the front door. There were days when there was nothing to eat. His grandmother would boil a pot of water with salt so the children would have something warm in their stomachs. His mother died when he was 15. His grandmother passed away at 2. At 12, he was spotted at a youth tournament and given a scholarship to Grey High School. Rugby literally saved his life. And now at 26, he was being asked to lead the Springboks. The global reaction was seismic. CNN, BBC, every major news outlet. South Africa names first black rugby captain. Their headlines read, It felt historic because it was historic.
Yes, yeah. For the June Test matches, it will be Siya Kolisi for the series, and for this tour to to the States against Wales, it will be Peter Steves at 2. Then obviously Siya, I coached him since he was 18. When got him from the Eastern Cape to come to the Stormers, so I coached him right through the academy years, right through till he played for the Stormers. I know what he can do. I know his qualities, and I know how he's grown as a man and as a captain, and I think, as I say, it's only for the June Test matches. Guys like Warren Whiteley and Eben and those guys are still injured. So it just makes common sense for me that he would be a good option.
But what most people didn't know, what Rassie only revealed years later, was the backlash. I lost a lot of friends when I made Siya captain, Erasmus said. There was a lot of nastiness. People said it was political. It got personal. Rassie's daughters, his children, were targeted. Their friends' parents told them in exact words, "Tell that effing father of yours to stop sucking up for a paycheck." Erasmus nearly resigned over it, but thankfully he didn't, because he knew Kolisi was the right man, not because of politics, not because of symbolism, because he'd coached Kolisi since he was 18 at the Stormers and knew what kind of leader he was. "I know Siya is a good leader and I'm excited about what he can offer us," was all Erasmus said publicly. Humble, quiet, and like everything, let the main thing be the main thing. Let the rugby do the talking.
I wouldn't like to look at it that way, because as I say, I know him since he's 18, and I coached him his first session at the academy there in Stellenbosch when he came in, and I know him as a great rugby player, and I've seen him this year go through tough times with form and tough times as a captain, and I've known him 4 or 5 years ago when he went for a bad spell as well. So I always know him as the guy who's playing really well and who's a great leader. Doing the other part, which is great for South Africa and those things, is absolutely just a bonus. Because that's definitely not the reason why I went and say, well, Siya would tick that box for us. I like him. He's humble, he's quiet, he do his thing on his own, he's nice and physical. The way he's playing currently, which is not so flashy, the breakdown work he's doing on attack, the actual carries he's doing, the clean-outs he's doing, he's really starting to do almost like a blindside flanker, or like the old Andre Venters do, not so flashy, but really physical. And I think that's another, is it string in his bow, if we can call it that way. They're saying like that, I think so. I'm really excited about what Siya can offer to us.
It's genuine for me, from him, because he's not that kind of person. I know him since I was 18 years old, and he's straightforward with me, and he's had a sit down with me and he spoke to me, and that's how it is with all the players. You always know where you stand with him. The most important thing for him obviously is to make sure that we win and perform on Saturday, and so obviously if I had questions I'll go to him and ask him, and he'll tell me straightforward, and so I don't have any questions or any hesitation. He's told me exactly why he appointed me, and I'm good at that. And Coach Rassie is not a politician, so I'm also not a politician. I'm a rugby player. All I want to do is do well and play well and inspire not only black people, South Africa, because we're not only playing, I'm not only presenting one group, it's everybody. Like, he showed us a picture on Saturday, when we were playing, and showed us a picture from the back, and what you see in front of you every single race, and that's exactly who we're representing. So I can't stand here and say, I'm representing this one group. I'm representing the whole of South Africa. That's why we have this arrogant flag on our chest and in our jersey, So yeah.
Ellis Park, 9th of June 2018, 55,000 people. South Africa under a brand new captain, a brand new coach, and with a squad packed with debutants. Siya Kolisi, Apiwe Dayanti, Ergia Snyman, Lucanio Am. They were all kids at that stage, untested at this level. Across them, Eddie Jones's England, with Towering, Maro Itoje, Owen Farrell, the Vunipola brothers, Johnny May. The same team that won the Grand Slam in 2016 and had several tests behind their name. In fact, they had more tests than many of these Bok debutants had played Super Rugby games.
Pagamane Zwide, Pagamane Motherwell, Pagamane Woma, Pagamane kwaZakhele kwaMagxaki naseNew Brighton. Ngoba lo mfana wenu umele umzonsundu, umele thina sonke. uSiya ngumzukulwana wethu, Gunyana wethu, kumtshana wethu, kumnina wethu, utata kaNicholas, umyeni kaRachel, ugqwashu, ugqiya, umkhokheli wethu, itraka yesamente engana reverse gear. Pute, manikiniki.
And England came out like they wanted to end this game before it started. The second minute, Elliot Daly from 61 metres out kicks a penalty that sails through the posts. It's a statement. England are saying, we're here, we're not afraid of altitude, and we're not afraid of you. Fourth minute, Mike Brown bursts through the Bok defence. Try. Farrell converts. 10-0. The 15th minute, George Ford finds a hole in a staggered South African defensive line. Elliot Daly finishes it off. Farrell converts. 17-3. 18th minute, Ford again, this time releasing Johnny May down the right, who offloads to Farrell. The England captain scores under the post and converts his own try. 24-3. That's 20 minutes gone. England are 24-3 up. With a solitary Handré Pollard penalty was all the Boks had to show. It was a rout. Ellis Park had fallen silent. And if you're Rassie Erasmus standing in the coaching box on your first home test, with your hand-picked captain, your debutants, your 6-year plan, what are you thinking at 24-3?
Well, last week wasn't the start we wanted, so definitely not the home start we wanted, those first few minutes. No, I was worried, Brenden, there's a lot of young guys on that park against a very experienced England side, so it could have gone really bad for us, but well done to Siya and Dwayne and all of the guys that were on the park, Beast and Andre and everybody that plays a bit of a senior role in the team, because it could have gone really bad for us. And still at the end, we only scraped through in the game. So really proud of, out of all the mistakes and the wrong things we did, I think character is something that we can take forward and build on, because there was a lot of mistakes, but I think character was good enough.
What happened next sparked with the smallest man on the pitch. 21st minute. Faf de Klerk, or 5'7" of him, spotted the gap and darted through. Try. Pollard missed the conversion. 24-8. But it didn't matter. The try itself mattered less than what it did to the stadium. Ellis Park woke up. You could feel it. The crowd erupted. They found their voice. And with them finding theirs, the Springboks found theirs. What followed was 18 minutes of absolute mayhem. The 30th minute, Siya Kolisi, the debutant wing, scores. Pollard converts. 24-15. The 34th minute, Kolisi again. 4 minutes later, 2 tries on debut. Pollard converts. 22-24. It's a 2-point game now. The crowd at Ellis Park had gone from silence to bedlam. 21 points down, and they've come back to 2 points behind in 13 minutes. The 39th minute, Willie LaRue goes over from a driving line out. Pollard converts. 29-24. And South Africa was in front. In the space of 18 minutes, South Africa had scored 26 unanswered points. 4 tries. They've gone from being buried to being 5 points ahead against one of the best teams in the world. Farrell kicked a penalty right in halftime to make it 29-27. But the damage was done. The momentum had shifted completely and in South Africa's favour. The second half was an arm wrestle. Both teams knew exactly what was at stake. Pollard extended the lead with a penalty, 32-27. And then came the moment that announced the star. 64th minute, Apiwe Deyanti, another debutant, scored South Africa's 5th try. It was a brilliant individual finish. Pollard converted, 39-27. That was a 12-point cushion. Surely it's safe now. Not quite. Mario Toji powered over for England, 39-32. Then Pollard kicked a crucial penalty to push it back out to 42-32. But in the end, Johnny May wasn't done. He crossed in the 78th minute. Farrell converted, and suddenly it was 42-39 with time running out. Those last 2 minutes were pure agony. England forced the line out in Springbok territory. One more score and they could have won. But South Africa held the ball. Faf de Klerk booted into touch, and the final whistle blew. South Africa 42, England 39. 10 tries, 81 points. And a comeback from 24-3 down that nobody who was at Ellis Park that day will ever forget. Faf de Klerk was named man of the match. Eddie Jones called him a little buzzsaw, and he clearly wasn't wrong. After the match, Rassie Erasmus said something that, looking back, sounds almost prophetic. There were a lot of young guys involved against a very experienced England side, and it could have gone really badly for us. I'm really proud that despite all the mistakes and wrong things we did, I think character is something we can take forward and build on. Character, that's the word. Not talent, not systems, not game plans. Character. Because look at who was on the field that day. Kolisi, Pollard, de Klerk, de Lende, Lekanya Tendai Matawariro, Wayne Vermeulen, Billy LaRue, Franco Mostert, Stephen Kitsoff, Peter Steph Dutoy, Bongi Mbonambi. Every single one of them would go on to win the 2019 World Cup. Most of them would win the 2023 World Cup as well. The Am and De Lende midfield that started at Ellis Park that day would last basically through the next two tournaments. And the Piwe Dianti, the debutant wing who scored that try, went on to be named World Rugby Breakthrough Player of the Year. Unfortunately for him, he never made the 2019 World Cup, being tested positive for a banned substance the next year, which basically ended his career. He's come back and now he's playing rugby in France. But that was the day that he announced himself to the world. Even Eddie Jones, in defeat, understood the significance of the moment. As much as I was disappointed for the loss, he said, "I'm happy about what happened today for Siya Kolisi to be the first black Springbok captain. I think that's a momentous occasion for rugby in general." When asked about the tunnel incident with South African fans after the match, Jones joked, "I was just asking them where I could get a good bottle of Pinotage. I'm still waiting for that answer."
I was just asking where I could get a good bottle of Pinotage. And I'm still waiting for the answer. So if anyone can help me out, please help me out. They said go find it yourself. So I'll have to go and find it myself.
Now here's the thing, you can draw a straight line from Ellis Park 2018 to everything that followed. Later that year, these same Springboks beat the All Blacks 36-34 in Wellington. Another dramatic comeback that confirmed the rebuild was real. In 2019, when they won the World Cup, they beat England 32-12 in the final. But we'll tell you that story on Friday. In 2021, they beat the British and Irish Lions in the middle of COVID. In 2023, they won the World Cup again, beating New Zealand in the closest final in history. But it all started here, in a game where they were 24-3 down and everybody thought it was over. A game where debutants became heroes. A game where a new captain and a new coach proved their character. The willingness to refuse to lose could be the foundation of something extraordinary. Rassie Erasmus wasn't wrong. Character was something they could build on. And you know what? They went out and they built a dynasty. Tomorrow, the most dramatic finish in the history of this rivalry, the 2023 World Cup semi-final. England was leading from the 3rd minute to the 77th, and then Handré Pollard from the halfway line with 3 minutes left. Well, I think you know how it ends. But you don't know the full story, so I'll see you tomorrow. If you haven't already, please press that subscribe button, and yeah, hit that thumbs up if you like this video, it helps us with the algorithm. Until tomorrow, cheers.